com a Sua Excelência, a embaixadora da Namíbia, embaixadora Selma Nganumundova, da Namíbia. Temos prazer de recebê-la. Thank you, Your Excellency, for your time to present Namíbia to our participants. Please.
Located on the west coast of southern Africa, Namibia has a population of 2.5 million people, occupying 824,292 square kilometers of breathtaking landscapes, home to abundant wildlife. Since its independence in 1990, Namibia has proven to be an African reference due to its political and economic stability, sustained by a flourishing democracy. Over the past 30 years, the country has seen the peaceful transfer of power of 3 presidencies. Namibia is a land of hospitable people with rich cultural traditions and exciting investment opportunities. Through the world-class port at Walvis Bay, the country positions itself as a logistics hub for road, rail, and sea freight, connecting neighboring countries and the broader Southern Africa development community with the rest of the world. Namibia, in reinforcing its strategic position of a logistical hub, continues to invest in infrastructural projects to facilitate easy access and movement of people and goods throughout SADC countries with a population of more than 300 million people and further access to the wider African market of 1 billion consumers through the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. The long-term economic and political strategy of growth is firmly based on ensuring openness to trade and external investment while advancing development of strategic key sectors of Namibia's economy: mining, fishing, agriculture, tourism, renewable energy. Namibia's vast renewable energy generation potential affords our generation with the opportunity to produce green hydrogen at unparalleled scales, thereby supporting our global objectives to decarbonize the planet. A prosperous and industrialized Namibia, developed by her human resources, enjoying peace, harmony, and political stability. Vision 2030. To achieve economic progression, social transformation, environmental sustainability, and good governance, the Namibian government is implementing the Harambee Prosperity Plan 2. HPP2 presents an opportunity to build on the legacy of the past 3 decades and guarantee a more secure future through resilient processes, systems, and institutions. The plan aims at implementing policy programs which enhance service delivery, private sector-led and inclusive economic growth. Namibia's diversification strategy is set to increase investment and development of the food industry, transport and logistics, metals, mining, renewable energy, chemicals and basic materials, digital and global business services, and machinery and electronics. With the vision of private sector-led growth, Namibia is open to trade and foreign direct investment and is continuously proving to be the preferred investment location in Africa. Among the reasons for this include protection of ownership rights and rule of law, sophisticated financial systems, trade agreements that facilitate regional, continental, and international market access, peace, and stability. A nation powered by nature and fueled by hope. A nation where our unity is our strength, where determination and passion endures. A nation powered by our unwavering belief in our values, our resources, and above all, our people. This is how we are shaping our future. Welcome to Namibia, the land of the brave.
The video was actually just aimed to give you a background about the location and the work that we are doing in terms of trade and investment in the country. It's a little bit outdated. I think it was taken beginning of last year, and the population has since increased from 2.5 million to 3 million residents now in the country, and also the presidents, now the one that is in power is the fourth president, following the untimely passing of the former president, the late Hage Geingob. And we are expected to inaugurate the next president on the 21st of March, which is next week, which will make also history for the country. She will be the first ever woman president of the Republic of Namibia. Okay, so I'm going now to talk about investment opportunities in Namibia, and I'm going to focus particularly on agriculture and agro-processing. So I'm not going to follow what the video was talking about, so I'm going to put a specific focus. Just to give you a background again, it is the third largest producer of uranium. It has a biomass potential and abundant wind and solar resources. It's the first African country to export beef to China, and it's on a competitive global level in terms of small livestock meat, blueberries, grapes, and subsectors. Beyond the energy and agriculture, it is a very beautiful country, as it was shown in the video, with very outstanding, breathtaking landscapes, diverse cultures, and rich wildlife. If you have to visit, you will see on your own. Again, we are saying that it is in Africa, it is ranked as the first in Africa on the rule of law. In terms of the judiciary system, it has closed the gender gap. We have adopted a constitution of 50-50 representation in terms of gender in the ruling party. Which means if a man comes, then it always has to be men, women, men, women, men, women, until we reach that number. So we have advanced in that. We have Greenfield Foreign Direct Investment Performance Index rated at the first place, and we are ranked at the second place in terms of Southern Africa tourism arrival. That was in 2021. We were ranked second in Africa for press freedom. So as you may know, even no matter what you say in the media, nobody will come and arrest you, and you are not going to disappear. We all have the right to the press, and social medias are not even limited. It is rated as the second best governed in Africa, rated as the sixth highest scorer in Africa in Corruption Perception Index. And it was also rated as the seventh most peaceful country in Africa. We have a literacy rate of 92%. It is ranked consistently at top 10 among the safest destinations in Africa. And in terms of tourism, it contributes to about 6.9 to Namibia's GDP. And that statistic was last taken in 2023. Okay, so these are our priority sectors in terms of what we have prioritized as a country, but like I said, I will just highlight them: renewable energy, food industry, chemicals, basic materials, transport and logistics, services, metals, mining and adjacent industries, machinery and electronics, e-business and technology, tourism, oil and gas. Those are our priority sector as a country. But as I said already, I'm only going to focus on agriculture, given the event that we are attending. In terms of agriculture, we've got livestock. I know Brazil also have goat beef. But we, as a country, we have a market in China, EU, and the USA. But in terms of the livestock, we are trying to add value, which means we are trying to add value to the Namibian beef. And we are trying, once we add value, to also diversify our markets apart from China, EU, and the USA, so that we can have more destinations for the meat industry. We have a new product, which is blueberries. Actually, we have 3 products which we call high-value fruits that we are focused on as a country. Blueberries, the first production was made in 2020 at 71 hectares in production. And then we have found the market at the EU, South Africa, and Middle East. But what we are saying here is we are looking for investors that could assist with more production as far as blueberries is concerned. With regard to the grapes, it is the same thing. We have the established sector already over many years on the hectare in production of 2,158. And that is the main exports. Again, just like blueberries, we are trying to find investors also to increase our production so that, again, we can diversify our market. So the rate at which we are producing, we feel it's not sufficient, given the enough space that we have. And we are trying to attract investors in those specific fruits. The focus is also on the dates. The production has also started and we have a land allocated specifically for that. And we have the main exports of these dates. And again, we are looking at investors in terms of production. In terms of horticulture, vegetables, we also do some exports. However, we are also looking at the additional production of horticulture as a country. I think I should also mention that Namibia is a semi-arid country, but we have put some infrastructures in place as regards our strategies and to come up with this. For fruit farming, this is the percentage, which is the 4% of the local consumption. And as I said, we are looking for more production, even though it is not being consumed in the country. What we are trying to see is how we could diversify these blueberries, grapes, and dates to other markets. Agro-processing, Namibia heavily relies on imported agro-processing, and again, we are looking for investors as far as agro-processing is concerned. The same applies to the fruit, tree seedlings, and also to agronomic and horticultural production. So what we are saying here is that Namibia is actually strategically located, as it was explained in the video, to the extent that if we have a lot of production in the country, even though the population is only 3 million, it has what we call transport corridors, what we call trade corridors. I also want to mention that it's also hosting the dry ports for 3 countries, and the first one is for Zimbabwe. I think Ambassador of Zimbabwe forgot to mention that. We, at our coast, we are hosting the dry port for Zimbabwe, for Zambia, and for Botswana. So for our neighboring countries that doesn't have access to the sea, they could also use our harbor, and we have allocated some space for them so that they could also trade easily to their specific country. And in addition to the SADC countries, like we have also indicated on the video, we are members of the African Continental Free Trade Area. And so with that African Continental Free Trade Area agreement in place, Namibia is able to do business in the whole of the African continent. So we have some images here regarding the blueberry farming. This is actually just a process. what we have put in place and how we should go about it. I don't think this one needs more talks. And this continues on the expansion of opportunity because, as I said, it's regarded as one of our high value fruits, and we want to put more focus to it. It's one of the latest that we have just started with, actually, because the other one started some many years ago, and that's why you could see that there is a focus on the explanation as regards the blueberries. Here we are just saying that we have a harbor to export blueberries, and of course we have, like I said, logistics corridors, be it the roads that takes the trade corridors to other African countries, as well as I also want to mention that with Brazil we have a direct cargo lane with the port of Santos and the port of Valvis Bay. So we could easily do business with Brazil as regards these products. These are the roads we are talking about. Air transport is available, 10 flights a week to Europe via Frankfurt, 3 direct flights planned for Munich in 2025. So there is definitely market access everywhere, whether it's globally or whether it's in the SADC or the African continent. What are the investment opportunities available? There are specific areas that are allocated to investment in Namibia, and these are also powered already with water, like the Naute agricultural product. The size is shown here, how big it is, 1,500 hectares in total. And then the land right holder is indicated here is the Namibia Industrial Development Agency. It's situated in Kietman Swamp, and it's 160 millimeter. So its source of water is the Naute Dam. So there is already water there. I don't want to spend so much time. The same applies here to the ES Behen agricultural projects. These projects, actually, they are about 7 to 8, and they are not specifically per se, like they are allocated to a specific thing like blueberries or like horticulture. So it's up to the investor to see what suits where and what do we want to put at this specific place. Like this one in particular, it's powered by a borehole on the farm, and it's in Corihas. So looking at the land that's there, we will see the suitability of that specific land so that we can see whether it's suitable for that type of investment that we want to put in place. The Orange River Irrigation Project is situated in New Duvel, and it's getting the water from the Orange River. So it's also one of the 520 developed land, and it's a green scheme. So it's also available. All this is land that's Namibia has already prepared. So when the investors come, they can have a look at those specific projects, and they just test as to what suits where. We have another one, the Reed Fontaine Irrigation Projects, again. It's quite big, 1,616.28 hectares. It's already developed, land infrastructure development required. It's owned by the National Youth Service, and it's in Grootfontein. So it also has a borehole and a fountain on the farm, so there is water available. So all this, you can see that even the Berg Aucas irrigation project, they all have boreholes and fountains, and they are already prepared. So like I said, it's really up to the investors when they look at them to see what suits where. There is another Rubata agricultural project again, which is in Katima Modelo, and the source of water is the Kwando River. This one is 1,000 hectares. It's also an undeveloped land, but it's also allocated to the agricultural project. Singalamwe land, it's also undeveloped. As you can see, we have so many. We are really very passionate about agriculture. but we just need to find investors and come and work on these specific projects. Another Sakona land again, and the Zambezi community. It's 8 kilometers from the Kwando River, and there is underground water discovered. So it's also similarly undeveloped. Liselo land also, these are all the agricultural projects that we have strategically identified so that we can advance in agriculture and become self-sustainable. And like others, the land is 10 kilometers from the Zambezi River, so the water is not very far from this land as well. So now we are saying, why investing in Namibia? We have the benefits from the EU, SADC, and AGOA. And of course, we have also an agreement that we have signed between SADC and Mercosur, so which means should we be having some exports, we can as well export to the whole of the Mercosur countries. There is flexible energy cost solutions to reduce rates. There is access to regional markets, as I said already, through African Continental Free Trade Area. There is good governance and there is transparency, high quality ports and logistics infrastructure, as we said. Also the dry ports for our neighboring country as well as that one of our own. There is also democratic values, safety and security. The incentives in tax code is being reviewed as I'm talking. It will be finalized during the course of this year. We have young, trainable workforce and low cost, which is quite affordable labor. I don't want to talk about additional incentives. Yeah, that is the one under consideration that I spoke about. There is high quality of living in the country for expatriates and accommodation immigration regime for select skills. There is a stable currency, which is the Namibia dollars. It's one-to-one with the South African rand, reserves and conservative government fiscal policy. Partially subsidized vocational and tertiary training is also available for Namibian employees, where we could also train our young youth workforce that we could employ in various projects. Thank you so much. I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Excellency Selma. And I would like to say that I had visited Namibia already. I had been there in 2018, I guess. And I have very good friends there in our embassy in Windhoek. Yeah? And they are there also. It's a really amazing country. Thank you very much.
Opportunities. Number one, a follow-up question. The category that is of interest, many of these categories, but mines and minerals. Is there trade opportunities that we can potentially tap into?
Thank you very much for the question. We are definitely looking for trade opportunities, but as I have mentioned, the production capacity of the products that we are producing now, we have currently found markets, and that's why we are trying to increase the production capacity so that we could also increase the trade. But definitely trade between country to country, whether it's you trading to Namibia or Namibia trading to other countries, that is very well welcome. On the second question with regard to mines,
You've answered the question well. So the question would be, with interest to trade in order to get product from Namibia to another country, how do we proceed in that regard? How do we develop a process of communication? Would you be able to send us coordinates?
how do you?
Sorry.
Just repeat the question again.
Okay, we're interested in the category of mines and minerals.
Yes, I'm coming to your second question.
So, that was basically it. How do we proceed? How do we get more information? Who do we communicate with?
Okay. So on the second question with regard to mines and energy, as I said already, we have plenty of opportunities that are available in the country, but the only thing is the ones that I focused is agriculture in terms of the concept of the fair. But how you get opportunities in terms of other things, trade, mining, green hydrogen. We also discovered oil recently. So we also discovered oil recently of commercial value. And we also have green hydrogen. Where to start? You start with me. And I'm going to give you my business card right away so that we move with the process.
Perfect.
Yes.
That'll be helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Excellency, these farm projects that you shown us, it is only private or there are some public land area?
Actually, those farms, if you could... Okay, so if you look at Zambezi Community Land Board, those are state farms, or
State
even the
farms.
other one that I showed, like owned by the National Youth Service, it is for the state. So most of these are actually for the state.
Okay.
Yeah, they are not private. Yes,
Perfect.
and they are identified by the state. Let me see if they send
Yeah,
a
and the
private
investors will buy the land from the government or has the concession of usage?
They are not for sale. They are only for development.
For development,
Yes.
for usage.
Yes, and as you see, like this one, for example, is allocated to the community to assist the community to be self-sustainable. Yeah.
Yeah, and for many years, could be this usage of land the government gives to the investor. How many years of project? 10 years, 25 years, 90 years?
I think that will really depend on the interest of the government. How long do they want to continue with that specific product? But we are open to any discussion. Yes.
Okay.
Most of these farms, they belong to the government.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Excellency.
All right.
Is there any question? Oh, it's okay. Thank you. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you very much.